Hey guys, and welcome to another video. Today on February 9th, 2021, Behavior released a big update known as the mid chapter. Now this update was on the player test build, aka the PTB, a while ago. Today at 11 a.m. Eastern time, the update went live. I'm getting all of this information off of a Dead by Daylight forum. If you want to see the full patch list, the link is in the description below. This video is going to go over pretty much everything you need to know for this patch. So one of the biggest things in this update is the updated survivor locomotion. All of the survivor animations have been updated, and it's really clear the second that you spawn into the map, you're standing really fucking upright. You're definitely like in a more upright position when you start off the game or when you're not moving at all. But as you run around more, you kind of hunch over. You're hunched over as you're just walking as well. The crouch animation looks really different too. And whenever you're downed, it kind of changes camera angle. It almost looks like a Mori every time you're downed. It honestly feels like a different game altogether, the movement. I feel like, I don't know if this is true or not, but it felt like I was going slower. Not really, I'm not saying like the survivor movement speed is slower. I'm saying it takes more time to change direction. It almost seems like the acceleration was decreased, meaning if you're not moving at all to going to full 4 meters per second movement, it took longer. Like when I'm looping the killer, it's really apparent. Like if the killer's doubling back and I have to double back, it felt slower. I'm not actually sure if this is true or not, but that's kind of the vibe I got when I first started playing. If anyone else feels the same way, let me know in the comments below. I'm curious if this is actually a thing or not. So they also changed the heads-up display, or the HUD layout. All of the survivor information's in the top left-hand corner of the screen. You can see the actual photos of the characters, as well as how many times they've been hooked. I mean, you guys tell me. I think this is going to encourage tunneling even more. If the killer is behind in the game and is chasing someone who's been hooked twice already when no other survivors have been, in a situation like that, a lot of killers are going to realize they can tunnel this person out of the game to come back. I think this is going to make the tunneling problem worse. Not that it's a problem, it's just, it makes a lot of people mad, even though I think it's a perfectly fair mechanic in the game for killers to do that if that's how they want to play. I think a lot of people are mad about getting tunneled. Personally, I don't really have a problem with tunneling. A killer's got to do what a killer's got to do to win the game. But I just think that it's going to encourage tunneling and upset people who don't like tunneling. I'm really not used to it. I always find myself looking down to the bottom left-hand corner of my screen to see if someone's going to phase or if I am trying to see who's in chase. I mean, I think it's okay to change the location of that information. It's just going to take some getting used to. But like I said, the game feels really different now. I think it'll just take some time to get used to the new interface. I'm not saying the interface is necessarily a bad thing. I'm sure they have their reasons for doing it. I know a lot of people are upset about the change. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's just a matter of getting used to it. Also, the number of generators remaining is just at the top of the screen now, which is kind of weird. All the points awarded to you during the game are now in the top right-hand corner of the screen, and they're smaller font, so it can actually display more information now. They talked about in the patch notes like being able to show more information as many events are happening, so now they can include more things on the screen if the font's smaller. So that was pretty cool. The skill check icon looks a little different. The cursed icon and the exhaust icon look a little bit different now. I still got exhausted through Dead Hard, so I don't think you can expect that to be any better. Also, it was very clear that the Dead Hard animation was exactly the same, because when I Dead Hard, it kind of looks like a familiar movement, and then it goes back to that kind of weird new animation of running. Vault animation looks exactly the same. One thing that is different is the flashlight mechanics. I think it almost looks like they went back to what it was before. It just looks different when they get blinded and the bulb gets really big again, like how it used to before. So now the only thing in the bottom left-hand corner is going to be just your item with the add-ons. But like I said, the chases feel really different when you're looping a killer. Like it almost feels like a different game entirely. I think the biggest change with the new HUD element is the hook counts. I remember hearing the devs talking about this, and they were saying like they thought even if killers don't 4K or even if they 0K, they'll still feel some sort of achievement if they're able to hook everyone a lot. There's a lot of ways killers can feel like they're performing badly, like if they keep losing gens. There's just so many ways that the game tells them that they're losing. So the devs wanted to put in a metric that rewards or makes them feel good about how the game is going. The full health state and injured state look totally different, and then the down state looks pretty similar. When you're down, the camera totally tilts down, so it almost looks like you're getting moried every time you're downed in a weird way. And then when you're crawling around, you look like a freaking worm. There's also new UI scale sliders. It allows you to adjust the size of your UI. So you can actually change the size of your HUD and menus. There's also a big visual update for the mid-chapter. There's updates to the meat plant and the asylum. You're no longer able to click escape when the game starts and teabag. I noticed that you can't glue yourself to the gen when you open your menu while on a gen. The Asylum map graphics were updated, and it looks really nice now. They slightly changed the layout of the map, and honestly, I feel like it's a good update. Like, since the graphics and map layout has been updated, it feels really fun to play on that map. This update also had a big clown rework. Now the clown has 2 different types of bottles, a tonic and an antidote. So the tonics works the exact same as it always has before. The new antidote bottles turn yellow after 2.5 seconds. They last a total of 7.5 seconds. And the radius of the new antidote bottles are smaller than the tonic bottles. And the antidote bottles give survivors in the clown a 10% movement speed bonus for 5 seconds. I've never seen a clown throw this bottle, but I guess you could help them with map movement speed. I don't see how this would help the clown if both the clown and the survivor get movement speed. I don't know. What do you guys think of this antidote bottle update? Let me know in the comments below. I honestly don't think it's going to help the clown out very much, other than the map movement speed if they know a survivor isn't in the area. If they need to go like maybe check a gen or get out of the area quickly because they see a survivor on barbecue. One thing to note is the antidote and tonic clouds disappear if they overlap at all. An intoxicated survivor touching a yellow antidote cloud is no longer intoxicated. And those toxic clouds are going to remain unchanged from what they were before. So they just added an antidote bottle. There's a list of add-ons that they changed with the clown. You can check out the full list on the Dead by Daylight forum, which I've linked below. And I guess the clown now has his own terror radius and chase music, so that's really cool. The second killer that was updated was the Trapper. Escaping from a bear trap now has a 1/6 chance of succeeding on each attempt, but now it's capped at 6 attempts maximum. The add-ons are going to be able to change those statistics, but that's now the base chance of succeeding on each attempt. There's also a really cool Wraith update, which I think is awesome and adds so much value to the Wraith. The Wraith is now completely invisible to survivors when more than 20 meters away. So now the Wraith's no longer just a cloud that you can see. Now he's completely invisible when he's more than 20 meters away. I think this adds new excitement to the game when you're playing against the Wraith as survivor. I mean, in this way, they've definitely buffed his ability, but I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool that you can never be really sure of where he is if he's more than 20 meters away. This adds more opportunities for mind games for the Wraith, and it adds more split-second decisions for survivors when he does come within 20 meters of them. There's also a big update for Hex Undying. Now when another Hex totem is cleansed, that totem's Hex transfers to Hex Undying and deactivates Undying. Any tokens are also transferred to that Hex. So that's a huge rework, because now the totem isn't transferred to another dull totem. It's just transferred to the old Undying totem. So that's totally going to nerf Undying, because now they only have to cleanse 2 totems to get Ruin down if they're running Ruin Undying. The Hex no longer transfers to every single dull totem on the map. Fixated now works while you're injured, so you can see your scratch marks while you're injured. The Iron Maiden exposed status lasts 30 seconds. Second wind duration is now 28, 24, and 20 seconds at each tier. Those are the big changes from the mid-chapter update. Like I said before, the full list is in the description below. What do you guys think about these changes? Do you guys like the new survivor animations in HUD? Do you think the clown changes actually change where the clown is on the killer tier list? Because the clown was really weak before this update. Do you think that Hex Undying nerf was too much? Also, if I missed any major changes, feel free to let me know. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.